Welcome to Free Spirit Fishing. Down here at Birchgrove, doing a few nights. Literally just got here. I've only been here. Literally, I just got set up. A couple of hours. I've had 2 fish already. Crazy. £20 4 ounce. Down Birchgrove in Shropshire. On the winter ticket. That's lovely fish like this. Absolutely brilliant. This rod had been out seconds. Just got here, just got the rod out, talking to Mike on the phone, rattled off straight away. Look at that. Just had a little stunner. Well, less than a little. £26 6 ounces. Absolutely stunning. It's just lights just going on the first night. What can I say? £26 6 ounce Birchgrove stunner. How's that? Beautiful. Right, let's get her back out. Absolutely stunning fish. Light's just starting to go now. It's I'm all slimed up. I'll have to change my top. Weather's supposed to drop a bit chilly. To be honest, it's dropped chilly already. So any luck tonight? Might push them down a bit with the dense water. I'll speak a bit more about that tomorrow actually. But if you can get down to a lake, keep it nice and quiet, especially this time of year, because the fish are basically, if you scare them off with bait, they're a bit reluctant to swim back around the lake like they do in the summer. It's looking good. I've seen a couple of fish roll, a couple of blows. It's pretty normal actually. A lot of people get a bit scared off by the cold weather, but you know, if you're on the bank you can read what's going on and that type of thing, and I will tell you, you know, you get down, if it's been mild, get down on the bank, there's a cold snap coming in, basically the dense water pushes the fish down, so right where your rigs are. So I'll see you tomorrow. Morning, beautiful sunrise. Just had this little beauty, 17.5 pound, little fat belly thing. It's really welcome on a frosty morning on Birch. It's my first morning of this session, and yeah, 3rd fish in. Oh, let's get her back out. God, it's cold. Right, rig rise on this session. Very simple rig, quite ingenious I suppose, to be honest. Something I came up with about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Basically what I do, fish a chod rig, little orange pop up on here, it seems to work well, and basically that flies up the line, fishing naked, up to a stop bead, a safe stop bead, obviously safety first and all that. And basically what happens, I've got a length of lead core there, and basically what I've done with that, I've took the lead out, stuck a needle down the end of it, and basically blobs it with the line to stop the end fray, and then I'll pass the line all the way down through the middle of the lead core, put a rubber bead on about an inch or so from the very end, and basically what happens is when I hook a fish, I'm fishing that naked, and basically what happens is that comes over, flicks over that, and protects my line as I'm playing the fish. And the other added thing on there, that bunches down and keeps the lead away from the fish's mouth, helps to stop hook pulls and that type of thing. Nifty little trick with this, basically I've got a rubber bead on there, and my ring swivel can just about pass over that, so I haven't got to break the whole thing down when I want to change my chod. So basically I can fetch that over that. I've got a little boom there which covers up the clip, that'll go down over that as well. I've got a mini clip which also passes over, and me basically just unclip my lead, and I'm using a little 1.5 ounce lead there, and that's about it really. You know, it's quite an ingenious little setup I suppose. It does exactly so. I get to use a naked chod and with a little bit of protection on it as well. So you know, and you cast it out lovely, fishing it over little beds of trigger blue, tiny little baits. So yeah, give it a go. And one little point I will add actually before I go is when I've passed it down, passed my line down, basically I'm tying the line and the lead core together to the clip with a Palomar knot. So that's how that end's fixed. But yeah, give that a go, and it catches me loads of fish in the winter. Morning. Birchgrove, just had a couple. Oh. Look at the colour of that. Absolutely beautiful. Just turn around for you. Dark as your hat, look. Couple of bites, fantastic. I'll get the other one for you. Right, £19, 14. Little fat thing, right little belly on it. Oh, that's a caught on the alternative pop-ups, Nutribait, on my Free Spirit rods, so I think I'm going to keep them happy. But just getting a couple of bites. Water temperature's freezing, 6 degrees. But by the looks of the stomach on this one, it's a bit scuffing. Absolutely fantastic. Look at the colours. Shropshire fish for you. Right, let's get her back, eh? What a difference a day makes. Absolutely unbelievable. Yesterday morning, freezing cold, frost, and this morning, bit of drizzle in the air, bit of a wind. Talking about temperatures and that type of thing, it's quite a funny subject. I'll try and touch on a few bits what I've learnt over the years. To be honest, when I first started getting interested in water temperatures, air pressures and that, was probably the time I was on Bomere, catching fish out of, what was it, 34 foot of water, middle of winter. You get a serious frost, and you know, I was always in the mind of the air pressure, like low pressure pushed the fish down, and the high pressure basically brought them up in the water, because it had something to do with the swim bladder. As the years have gone on, I've looked quite deep into this subject. It's got more to do with temperature than anything else. Like, for instance, summer, you get high pressure, sun comes out, the fish are in the pads on the surface taking floaters. In the winter you get high pressure but you get a frost. The cold water pushes the fish down as the cold water drops down through the water, with colder water being denser than warm water, so basically it's heavier, so it actually seeps down through the water layers. But what you've got to remember there is, it's a bit, I suppose it's a bit like putting cold water in a hot bath. It mixes up as it goes down. So what you've got to remember, if you've got a frost and basically you've got freezing cold temperatures on the surface, basically that's going to want to drop down through the layers, but as it goes through, it's warming up and warming up as it's dropping down, because it's mixing with the water what's there. But you know, the densest water what you can get is about 4 degrees anyway, and then after that the water basically starts to rise again. It makes it, you know, lift up through the layers again. Going on to wind, that's probably one of the worst things for our fishing in a way, especially in winter, because instead of having the constant layer of cold water coming down and then it reaching 4 degrees and then basically it wants to come back up again, basically the wind stirs it all up, so you know, and then you get the undertow and it's just mixing it up. It's almost like stirring the water in a bath, if you like, and then basically it's chilling the water down at all levels, and then you're losing those layers of warmer water as it goes down. And you know, like, I'm always taking a water temperature when I come fishing, and the amount of people who actually say to me, well, that's the time I go fishing, so it doesn't really matter what the water temperature is. But you know, if you want to think that way, but I've dug quite deep into this subject, and to be honest, I'm always taking the water temperature when I get here, when I leave. I'm taking notes. For instance, if I notice the nighttime temperatures are mild all week, mild for winter, like you're looking at about probably 5 or 6 degrees, you can almost fathom out what the temperature, whether it's going to fall or rise by the time you get there. And if you've took the water temperature and it's about 6 degrees when you last fished, and then you get there and it's like 7.5 degrees, you know there's a good chance they'll be on the munch. So it helps you decide whether it's worth putting a bit of bait in to get on feeding, or whether you're just going to fish singles if the temperature's dropped a bit. But it also gives me a good idea if it's windy. I know it's going to be stirred up, so basically it's a constant temperature, and to be honest, you do find that the temperature of water you get in the margin is generally different to what you get out in the lake. So I'm always casting a thermometer out before I go. I'll try not to do it when I get there, to be honest. I'm thinking more of disturbance and that type of thing, because by the time you've scared the fish out of a swim, and that's the other thing with bait, by the time you've scared them off with bait when you get there, it's not like summer, and like summer they're forever swimming around the lake. So you know, winter time they could swim down the other end of the lake. It might be a week or so before they decide to swim back, because they're quite lethargic. But yeah, it's a good little subject, to be honest. It's something I think a lot of people ought to delve into a bit. But it's, you know, I've gone into the chemistry side of it a bit, and for instance, when the water temperature reaches 4 degrees in temperature, basically it loses some of its density and it starts to lift up through the layers, and basically that's why you get ice forming on the surface and why ice floats, because it's colder than 4 degrees. So basically it's lighter than the water what's under it, and then basically get that freezing cold layer on the surface, and then it forms a sheet of ice. But while we're on the subject of ice, what I have noticed is basically if you've got a lake covered in ice, one good thing with that, the longer the ice is on there, it's protecting it from the cold winds and the undertows and that type of thing. So you imagine you're sat in a car and the sun's out and you get that real warm glow coming through the window, and you end up having to wind the window down because it's getting a bit warm. The ice acts the same type of thing. You know, it traps the sun's rays, warms the water underneath like a big sheet of glass, if you like, and it's protecting it from the cold winds. Any more frost, basically it's just touching it on the top, and it keeps that effect. And then basically the massive ground area underneath the lake, the average temperature of that is warming up through the lake, and then you've got the warming coming down through sunlight, through the ice. And you know, when I was on the mangrove, last session on there, I was basically in a boat off down the lake, and basically going past icebergs, if you like. It had just defrosted and it had the lid on it for about 2 months, a month and a half. And I got down there and checked the temperature, and the funny thing was, before the lid went on, the water temperature was getting really cold. It was about 3.5 degrees all over. It didn't matter what depth you got, because the wind catches that lake quite well. And then when I went down, dodging the icebergs and that type of thing, checked the water temperature, 7 degrees, and that's with the ice melt going in there as well. So it shows you how much it warmed up. And to be honest, I went down there, popped a little bit of bait in, hey presto, I had I think it was about 12 fish on my last session, with one of them being a 40. But absolutely unbelievable. You know, it's one of those things. If you delve into it a little bit, you know, it's bound to help you with your fishing, and that's a good thing about carp fishing. You know, you can put as much effort or as much thought, or put in as much as what you want to, really. £25, 8oz. Birchgrove common. Absolutely stunning fish, like they all are in Shropshire. Just took some pics of this one. There we go, £26 on the nose. Birchgrove longman. Beautiful fish. Give me a right back along the Hi S Ives. What a sliver. Get her back out. With another birch common, nice little 18-pounder, little fat one, on the blue oyster trigger, or the trigger blue as I call it. It's a little tiny little peppering with a little wonder fruit over the top. Just about to start packing up, so this will probably be my last fish actually. But what a session, absolutely fantastic. January as well. I'll see you next time. Just as I was packing away, it's rattled off with a 16.5, black as your hat, absolutely beautiful. And to be honest, it goes to show the Hi S Ives ERs, I haven't had a single hook pull. Every bite I've landed the fish. Beautiful rods to play fish on, whether they're large or small. Goes to prove. Right then, unless it rattles off again, I will see you next time. Cheers.